we know that recent studies has shown that maybe over 1/3 of us is suffering from loneliness. And it could be also that over 1/5 of us are feeling themselves lonely at work. So now we can agree that it's very widespread and common issue. Maybe you're now wondering why I was asking about the smoking. We all know it's common knowledge that smoking is very dangerous, it's very unhealthy. But could you imagine or think if I say that loneliness is as dangerous as smoking 15 cigarettes per day? 15. That's a fact. So now we can also agree that loneliness is very harmful and very unhealthy to us. Therefore, I'm here today to talk about the loneliness and health. First, we go through the definition of loneliness. After that, how it works to our body through the nervous system, and a little bit the evolutionary perspective. And after that, impact on our health. And last, solution. Is there something we can do about this growing epidemic? Okay, we start with the definition. We all can imagine or think that loneliness is a feeling. Yes, it's a feeling. It's a subjective feeling. But you cannot define loneliness by measuring the Instagram followers you have or Facebook friends you have or Christmas cards you receive. So it's also a very individual feeling. Therefore, the definition of loneliness is imbalance between the social connections we crave and what we actually have. And it's also very important to understand now that short-term loneliness is not harmful, it's not dangerous, it's part of the life. But when it's prolonged, long-term loneliness, then it becomes dangerous, then it becomes disease. That's very important to understand. All right, now we know what loneliness is. Now we go through how it affects to our nervous system. We all have this involuntary and voluntary part, and the involuntary part of the nervous system also consists of two parts. Those are called parasympathetic and sympathetic parts. Parasympathetic part is known it relaxes us, calms us down, lowers our blood pressure, lowers our heart rate. And the sympathetic part does the opposite. It raises our blood pressure, raises our heart rate, prepares us to action. It's known of like this fight or flight situations. And here comes the paradox. Loneliness is triggering and activating our sympathetic nervous system. And that's why when it's prolonged, it becomes a disease. It increases our oxidative stress, increases our inflammatory markers in our body. Then it becomes dangerous. But why the loneliness is triggering the sympathetic nervous system? We obviously have to look a little bit, maybe not so little bit, back to our history. How did our ancestors live before? They have lived in small groups, communities, and depended on each other, stick together, because that meant survival against nature threats, against wild animals, against other people, and that's why our brain still thinks when we are alone, there's a wild animal coming to eat us, even though that's not happening. But the evolutionary perspective has been so quick, and the process has been so quick that our brain has not adapted to this situation. So it still thinks when we are alone, it's very dangerous to us. And when it's prolonged, it becomes dangerous and increasing the oxidative stress. So now we know also why it's affecting like it's affecting to our body. When the loneliness is prolonged, it becomes a disease. It increases the oxidative stress reactions in our body. And the oxidative stress damages our proteins, damages our lipoproteins, damages our DNA, cells, and may even cause cancer via the mutation of DNA. But also, it affects our mental health. It's maybe more obvious than the physical health because loneliness is a feeling. And we know that depressed people are 10 times more likely to feel themselves lonely and normal people are normal people. But yeah, and we don't know, is it first that they are feeling themselves lonely and after a period they are depressed, or is it vice versa? I think it's maybe a combination that they can feed each other. But beyond that, beyond the mental health effects, the loneliness is affecting our physical health. We know that the oxidative stress is damaging our DNA, can cause cancer, but when it's all oxidizing the lipoproteins, we know that those lipoproteins which are oxidized tend to accumulate to our blood vessel and are building cardiovascular disease and even heart attack. So we can literally say that loneliness breaks our hearts, and that's not a joke. That's a real fact. It can do that, and it also affects our sleep. It becomes more superficial, fragmented, because our brain thinks when we are sleeping alone that there is some nature threats or wild animals coming and eat us, and it won't let our body go do deep sleep, and that's why the sleep becomes superficial. That's a little bit paradoxical also, because when you think you're sleeping alone, there is no one to poking us you or are interrupting you, and there's enough room to sleep, but still the evolutionary process has been so quick that our brain don't understand it. Is there something we can do about this growing disease and avoiding it not coming pandemic? I like to use also 3 points like our president will do. First is connect with yourself. You have to get know who are you, what you like and what you don't like. Don't compare yourself to others. It's unnecessary. Just be yourself, and you have to just look at the mirror and know yourself. Practice self-care. There's also 3 boring things which every doctor is saying, even matter you have high cholesterol, blood pressure. I'm also here saying to you that the sleep is very important, the nutrition is very important, exercise is very important. Sleep, that's why, because our body recovers during the sleep, and healthy food, we get good antioxidants from the food. It's building better antioxidant system. Same goes with the exercise. When we are exercising, we are triggering and enhancing our antioxidant system, which can attack and tackle the oxidative stress we are facing daily, even though we are not suffering from loneliness. There are other sources also which are producing oxidative stress to our body. That's why it's very important that we sleep, I would say 8 to 9 hours per day, and good food, healthy food, and also daily exercise. Those are very important. And last thing, join a group, start new hobby, just go out, socialize, build relationships, because we can avoid loneliness becoming a pandemic just by building real life relationships. Thank you.